Hello, everyone. Welcome to my stream today. Thank you so much, too, for your patience with me. Today, I actually had to do a presentation prior to this. That's why it's a bit of a delay. I actually still haven't got time to eat yet. There was a lot of, messages afterwards following up, with the meetup presentation. So thank you again if you're here. I think if you're from the Turkey Java community, thank you so much again. But I know too, right now, I think it's already almost like 11 o'clock for them. So I don't expect anybody to be here live right now anyway from Turkey because it's already so late. So but thank you too. I'm not sure who may be here or who may be not. It's been, I know too, it's been a lot of changes in my life, right? I was at, IBM and left them in December, then joined HiveMQ and did a bit of an MQTT, also like PubSub. I think that's why I'm exciting. I think I got this opportunity to be at DataStax now. It's really a great company, especially if you are into big data, into NoSQL database. I think DataStax, as I'm learning too, right? Cassandra is pretty amazing. So please consider visiting too the Cassandra. There are lots of materials for learning. And folks there, the developer advocacy team, I'm like part of that team, but it's kind of strange because I'm actually helping out with the streaming product, so the Apache Pulsar. So I'm like on a different team, but it's like functionally too. I'm doing advocacy. So there's a group of few of the advocates. They're amazing people. I really like them, and that I'm now working with. So there actually will be chances too that I will be also helping out with other aspects, not just the streaming part, right? There's Cassandra, there's also the integration part, with Spring, with Reactive, with you name it, right? All kinds of stuff too. I was just trying to think, right? Pulsar, we can actually work with test containers too, all of these things. So those are the kind of things I'm experimenting with, and they're just so much exciting thing. I feel like sometimes I get too excited and then I try this and that, and then it's a bad thing because then I don't get to actually try out one thing all the way to the end. But that's such, I'm learning. But I think it is always good to have an attitude of being like very curious, very eager to learn. I think I like to encourage that type of a approach, right, to things. I think not just with computers, right? It can be anything. If you have a will to learn, you will find a way to learn it. There will be, chances. But I do agree, sometimes it can be difficult too, maybe, and also too, by the way, too, I wanted to, again, point out that I am here to stand with my friends too, especially in Ukraine, and all of the people in Ukraine too, with the situation that is going on like this, not just with Ukraine, actually with Russia too. My friends too in Russia, all of them are peace loving. I mean, anybody has to be peace loving, I think, except for some individuals in the world who's just doing such damaging things. So I pray that, all the peace will come back, like it's really like is what I'm trying to say. But okay, so with today, right, I wanted to resume, right, talking about the Pulsar Java client. Last week, if you remember, right, let's do a bit of review too. So last week I was, we work on the producer side, right, and also started a Pulsar locally as a Docker in the Docker container on my Docker desktop. So maybe let's get that running again. So and then we can kind of get more into all the details. How about that? So okay, let me kind of like shrink myself up so I don't take up the whole room here. So okay, well actually, you know what? I found out I'm like okay, so because there's the well, today I didn't use my label because you all know who I am. So what I'll do is, let me kind of shift myself down so then I don't, actually, you know what? Let me kind of move myself over on the right side. So it won't be as, kind of covering things up, so to speak, right? Okay, so here we go. So that's the code we work on, right? More of the producer last week. But let's first actually start actually, why don't we do this? Last week, if you were here, I was able to, right, on Thursday instead of Wednesday, I was able to get the producer client working. Right now, it's just very bare bone, nothing fancy. It's essentially doing a client connect, right? Connect to the URL, Pulsar localhost 6650. But I have yet to start the Pulsar locally on my Docker, but I just haven't done it yet. But let's take a look. Maybe let's code it up and see if things can run to it, is what I'm trying to do. I think maybe is it too small? I think it looks like it's a little small, the font. So let me, oh yeah, actually not too bad, I think. Okay, so what I will do, I usually have, like I said, I have another one. So then another monitor, then I can see in case you are asking questions and all of these things. So, okay, not sure if anybody is here again. It really doesn't matter. Sometimes it's just good for me to be doing this every week, I think. Let me kind of increase the, okay, here we go. Let me increase the font size a little bit. Sorry, I think it's the editor font. Okay, let me kind of make it a little bigger. I feel kind of a little small. Let's do it 24. So okay, so it's a little better. Okay, cool. All right, so let's take a look too. First of all, well, again, right? Oh, that's right. So it's been a week, but I kind of didn't have actually enough time to work on following through. So today will be another exercise for me as I'm stepping through, and then you'll be watching me to do it. But as such too, what we will need, right, for a basic, very basic Java client will be essentially the, okay, first of all, to the package will be org.apache.pulsar.client and then .api. That's the one we're using. And then what you'll need is the producer and then the Pulsar client. And then also you might want also have Pulsar client exception as well as the message ID. So and then in my case too, I'm actually using SLF4J for my logging too. So in here, and then over here, like, well, I kind of comment something else. So I should actually put this onto my GitHub, which I will do. And in fact, I think what I'll do is that rather than kind of disorganized fashion, I'm going to really start to present or prepare the work into GitHub. So then actually I plan to actually investigate into using Gitpod too. I don't know if anybody is using Gitpod. Let's take a look, right? So Gitpod. So that would be good for doing, this would be essentially too, you can, so the idea is that if I check into there, you can actually use Gitpod and draw out those code and then try things out too in your particular instance. So let me kind of get that set up. So then it will become a bit more interactive, and I'm hoping to encourage you to also try things out as I'm demonstrating them too. So, okay, let me kind of go back there. Okay, so here it is with the code, right? So I call it Pulsar client test. And then I start off by, well, kind of some, so to speak, right, just doing Pulsar broker URL, and then my topic name. And then also in this case too, it's nothing fancy. So I'm going to group everything under main. So obviously in reality, we don't want to do everything in our main routine too. But for now, just to demonstrate, right, doing a Pulsar client, doing a connection is essentially doing a builder.service URL, Pulsar broker URL, and then .build. You get your client, and then from there, you can then do a .new producer to actually call instantiate my producer, and then with that I can essentially label my topic .create, that will create my producer. And then with that too, we should be able to then use the producer and do a new message and then give it a key, also a value, and send it out. And that's how you publish it. So it's really not that way too complicated. But in this particular case, we're just going to do one send. So and then immediately too, we do want to make sure we do a producer.close. And then after that, a client.close to close things out. So that's kind of like the procedure. So really, again, client connect, right? And client create and connect, and then producer create and connect, and then do a .send, and that's it. And then kind of basically closing it to call each of them producer.close and client.close. So likewise too with the consumer client, we'll be doing the same thing, but obviously consumer side is different. We're not going to do send, we're just going to be receiving. So let's see how to do that, right? So let's do that. So this one I call it the test, but actually I should have called it like test client pub test. How about that? And then I will need to refactor to. Actually, let's refactor this guy. Refactor, rename the file. So in pub test, in preview, Okay. File to be renamed. Okay, that's good. And okay, and so I have renamed it, but this isn't renamed yet. So what is it going? Rename the file. I guess I have to say search for references. Maybe it is doing it now. Or is it? Oh, do refactor. I'm so sorry. I see that I do need to do it over here. I'm not sure. It looks like this is kind of like small too. I don't know how to make this a little bigger, but let me actually it's about time. I need to kind of figure out how to do this bigger. I can do it in presentation mode, but then it will kind of take too much control over my whole screen, and I don't want to do it. So let me kind of do this fonts. I think, is it appearance, system settings, maybe, or appearance? Okay. I thought there might be like some kind of like secondary font. Presentation mode is 24. Okay, that is fine. But I thought I have seen it somewhere too. Scroll. Code. General. Breadcrumbs. I thought there's gotta be is it console or edited tabs? Okay, so I'm still kind of not sure where I can actually set these secondary section um, of my code of my editor in here to kind of making it a little bigger in the other thing. Um, Plugin version control. Okay. Tool. It's not tool. Is it terminal? Yeah, there is terminal, so I can tell it to also increase the font size, maybe. Is it advanced? IDE. Okay. User interface, maybe somewhere. Version control. Task. No. Okay. Anyway, I'm so sorry. It just doesn't seem like I know where they are. So what I'll do is, and that's interesting. Rename usages. Okay, rename. Okay, that's fine. And okay, that's cool. And okay, that's cool. But at least do I name it to pub test. But anyway, I am hoping that you can see this. I'm not sure. This is very small. All right. Well, okay. So I'm not going to waste my time kind of figuring this out. This is kind of does look a bit small, right, over here. Okay. Yeah, I think it's small, but all right. I will kind of do this offline, but I'm sorry if it's kind of a little small. But I think it's been small for the longest time, and then I just realized that it is kind of a little too small. But in any event, let me then start with another my consumer client now. So let's do a Java client. We'll name it Pulsar. That's pub, and then it's called subscriber test, right? Okay, so here we go. So what should we do now? We're gonna be doing the same thing. So let me also, like I said, I always like to do the right, this will be private static final logger. private static logger factory. No, logger get. Okay, this would be logger factory. Logger factory get logger, right? Oh no, sorry, and it should be this guy, just Pulsar. Am I doing it correctly? Let me kind of take a look. Sometimes, oh, just dot class. Okay, logger and then logger. Okay, sorry. Okay. Actually, it's static, so just class. Okay. And now, then we can then do a public static. Uh, Final string, right? Okay, this one would be the, we want to say the consumer. Actually, you know what? Pulsar. Pulsar. Okay. Pulsar. And talking about which, right? Even I'm like new to this, so I'm trying to recall from my memory, so that I kind of remember how to do this. So post. This is 6650. Okay, I'll double check this later. Public static final string. This is the Pulsar broker, and then we also have the topic name. I think I name it. Is it a test topic? Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's what I need to get started, and then of course two. I will try to say. Actually, you know what? Why doesn't it context action import class? Cool. So I can also say import. Okay, cool. All right, so I got these things going. Okay, so now I got my main. So the idea is that, all right, let me see now. Okay, so I got these things. Well, actually, let me double check too. I think these are, oh, actually, these should be private. That's what I thought too. Why did I do it public? So, all right, I'm not sure. Is anybody here? I think I don't see anybody in here, which is okay. And I don't mind just coding and talking to myself right now. But folks, you know, if you want to hear some other topics too, please let me know, because I'm just assuming right now I'm doing, you know, doing for my work so I can share with you what I have. But I think if you have topic areas you'd like me to work on, please let me know, because as such, right? There can be any number of different things that I can work on too. So okay, and okay, and I know too is it is late too. So folks, you know, maybe you can check things out later or suggest to me too. So okay, and then on my Discord, right? Okay, by the way too, if you're here and wanting to uh, kind of join me on my Discord, right? So this is my Discord server. If you want to, you know, I leave it on for now because I'm just going to focus on the coding side of things, right? Okay. All right. So let me then now work on the consumer. So for the consumer, okay, as I mentioned about, right, it's Pulsar. By the way, to F-row, it's actually a Cassandra a schema kind of format, right? So that's F-row. Even I'm like new to this too. So, but as you can see, it is there too. So I know I'm going to need Pulsar client, and then I'm going to also need the exception, right? And then I'm going to also need the consumer, which, by the way, too, let's take a look, right? Okay, let's kind of take a look into here. So this is the Java doc, right, for 290. Actually, why didn't I should be looking at 291 now, I think. Yes, let's look at 291. Oops. I guess there's no 291. Huh. Okay. All right. So that's only 290, but it applies. So I'm not gonna be too worried about it. But sometimes too, it'd be good to look at what's kind of the latest, right? So okay, or we can let's take a look at this. Let's go over here. You can always go to DataStax. Okay, well, this is the blog, but actually, you want developer. And by the way, too, while I'm here, right, rather than just watching me kind of code or something, before I forget to, over here to the data, okay, this one, right, the data stacks, if you go to like developers, there's actually, you know what, let me do this thing. I wanted it to open up but actually, let me kind of give, I don't want to go through like some of the obscure, through the obscure things. So let's go to datastacks.com. Okay, that's the main website. If you go to developers, then it kind of comes up here. And there's like really tons of materials here. There's like getting started, right? So these are actually really cool. I've done kind of stepped through a few things. It's basically to try out to get used to like how do you interact with Cassandra, right? The NoSQL database. If you're familiar with SQL, it's actually not that hard at all. It almost seems like it's doing SQL. So I'd like to encourage you to do that. And let me hide this. I realize it's blocking. So if you go to here, like I said, developers, then go to getting started. And then you can kind of go up here and look at all of these example and start coding. Like I said, the team is pretty amazing, has a lot of materials in here. Cassandra with Kafka, with Kubernetes, with Spring Framework, data modeling, indexing in Cassandra. What's new in Cassandra 4.0? There's some hands-on learning series and so many things too. So please visit this. There's also certifications too. That's a nice thing, right? Folks, you like badges. And in fact, I wanted to see, I realized that I've been doing this without giving out any kind of badges or anything, and that's a fault on my own. I've never really had the time to investigate how to do that. But I know too on Twitch too, there are different types of levels of recognition. So I like to start to get that going, so that then you can come in and join me, and then I will be giving you the different badges and things like that. I think you can display on, in your account too. So let me know to give me some suggestion, because I'm new to this, so there's just so many things to know. Fusnabo, how are you? Good evening. Thank you. It is very late for you, so thank you very much. I know, and I apologize. I've been, for some reason, have been so busy, right, during the day, and I couldn't get going sooner. But yeah, I've been wondering where you are too. Yes, good. Today I'm just gonna show a bit how to do a consumer client for querying against, or actually I shouldn't say querying, for like essentially I did the producer client. So today we're just gonna do this consumer client and then start up a Pulsar local on my Docker container in my local desktop, and then see if kind of it can produce and send messages. So that's kind of for today. And because too, I didn't start early enough, and then I realized I also have another meeting at like 4 o'clock, which would be, I think for you, Full Snapple, you are like 10, 11 or 12, right? Then I need to go to another meeting. But otherwise, too, that's the plan. But thank you so much, too. And in fact, Gustavo, I ran into someone. They Oh yes, so there is actually a developer. He worked for Pivotal before, and he worked for Ericsson as well. So he reminded me of you. And Poppy, hello, how are you? I don't know who you are. Yeah, yeah, hello, hello. Thank you. So yes, so Fusnabo have to kind of tell you about him because he's based in Finland and he worked for Ericsson. So immediately too, I thought of you. But he worked on more the architecting side. In which he actually introduced Pulsar, he told me, and then introduced some of the reactive stuff too. So yeah, so thank you again, yeah, for coming today. So okay, so again, right, today I'm not gonna have time to step through these exercises, but you know what? If it is of interest to you, we can step through some of it because as such, I'm also trying to get used to some of the Cassandra stuff, and I think will be good, right? If you kind of find it useful, right? So let me kind of send the link to you. Yeah. So and so the data stacks and let's see, data stacks and what is it? The developer. So okay, so I just share with you this site, right? The dev, you will find tons of information on Cassandra too. And okay, and Fusabo, you said Ericsson is quite a big company. Yes, I think I'm aware of it, and it's also such a company that's kind of with a long history too. It's got a lot of things, especially I think with the real time communication. I think it is actually got to be quite sophisticated there too. But of course, I think on other side of things, there are also a lot of kind of organize or teams that are trying to modernize a lot of things too, is what I heard too from my coworker. So I'm hoping too to bring him to my stream. I asked him. I think it looks like he will be interested, but he's real busy, and also the different time zone. I'm trying to bring him onto the stream here too. I think that will be great because he has tons of knowledge, right, about Pulsar, about streaming, about reactive, about Spring as well. So okay, so yeah, that's very good. So thank you. Okay, so now next time too, I can kind of bring in some of these other things with Astra streaming as such, right? Astra, and as such, let's come back to here too. This is the nice thing, right? In order to use Cassandra in the cloud, you can just sign up for this account, which is really, really nice. So Astra, I think it's over here, right? Astra .datastacks.com. So I just send that to you, so you can try that out, right? A free account, and I think actually, you know what? I believe that I actually have shared with you the link, didn't I? Huh? Where is it? I thought I have shared, but in any event, okay. So you get the link right now. So feel free to. And in my case, right, sign up for it and you get $25 US dollar for as a starter, as a credit. And it's actually, it doesn't, at first I thought, well, it's just going to burn it up, $25, burn up really fast, but it's actually not. Yeah, because it's actually quite efficient. So you should be able to, okay, wait a minute. Okay. It's actually quite nice. You should be able to, if you want to experiment with it, sign up for the Astra Cloud, for free. So I'm just going to sign up with this. Okay, here we go. So if you haven't, you just need a second to sign up too. And then you should be able to then get to this dashboard, right? Again, as you can see, I have $25. I have hardly used it so far. I kind of define my database, right? That's a Cassandra database, in the cloud, which is kind of nice. And then I also have a workshop thing that I was trying out, like I told you. And then I also then create streaming, and that's how you can test out Pulsar streaming in the Astra cloud. Yeah, so that's the Cassandra. But it is very true. If you want to go this route, that means this is where we're talking about Apache Pulsar being supported in the Astra, which is DataStax Cassandra implementation, right? So in this the cloud implementation, I should say. So in order to do that too, what you can do too is like do a create database. Again, you can look up some of these Why is it taking so long? Okay, so you can kind of follow, right? Some of the developer guides there. It gives you like example on how you can get this going too. So it isn't so bad at all. And like I said, you can create a database pretty quickly. I've already created like 2, but you can actually do something. Let's say, my Twitch, let's see, a Twitch, right? Demo 1 or something, and then what it needs is a key space. So key space essentially is like namespace, kind of like conceptually it's kind of like that, but that's how Cassandra has is your key space. So I can just do like my Twitch key space KS or something, and then basically too you can create your using any cloud that's kind of supported here as such as Google or AWS or Azure. So you can kind of pick one. So let's say if I do Google Cloud, and then I'm in North America, and then I think the closest to me would be Council Bluffs, right? Near me. I'm in US Central, so I'll pick that, and basically then you can then create the database. Now it's just going to take a bit of time for the database to be up, but once you're up, you should be able to then do the usual thing, right? This time is actually quite fast. Well, kind of, I should say too, is still pending. So this guy is going to take some time to kind of be able to be ready and then showing active too. So as such too, it is pretty cool. Now there's also this thing called serverless database. So serverless as such, right? They are kind of like a stateless kind of or I should say serverless databases, meaning that you don't need to manage the server. We will manage the server with you. So that's what it is. And it's just a different wording. It just means create database, I should say. So, okay. So with that, right? Now, while that's being created, let me then show you, right? So in order to get into the streaming part, which is enabled by Pulsar, you can just do a create streaming, but let's not kind of do that right now, but I'll just show you. So over here too, you can then quickly create a tenant, right? The concept of tenant is like they live inside of your cluster, is the streaming tenant. So in my case, I created MG tenant 2, and then it's AWS. But the thing is interesting too. I was just creating the database using GCP. So this one too, I can kind of quickly show you is that over here, you can also kind of do a WebSocket connection to it too. And there are token manager and all of these things too. So now it is very true. In order for you to do that, you will also, when you create a database, you will also, well, I should actually put it that way. When you first sign in too, you should make sure you generate your token. And with your token, you should then be able to move around, so to speak, right? If you have client trying to call in services in here, you will need the token too. So make sure you also generate your token. So I won't kind of go into there. You can kind of look up in here. And then there also help too with this tenant. You can actually do connection, right? The connection info in here. And you can do Java, and which is what we're trying to do now, Java code example. So for the streaming part, but okay, so again, this is like managed cloud, right? So like I said, what I'm trying to show you right now is just the pure like Apache Pulsar without the cloud kind of thing. It's just I'm running locally on my desktop, but using Docker. So Docker desktop is what I'm doing. But again, I just wanted to really quickly show you. So then if you want to try this out in the cloud, right, leveraging on our cloud environment, as you can see, it's really pretty easy for you to kind of start doing it. Maybe that's something we can try to. But over here, see, that's what it is too. The code too should be actually similar, right? I have already done that part. But of course, over here, it will be different, right? The service URL will be of a different kind of connection because I'm doing local. So I'm using localhost, but the localhost too as such for me in this case is the exported like port number for my Docker container. So like that. So, okay. So which then brings me to the next thing, right? So, okay, so let me kind of do that. So please take a look at this if you're interested, right? Essentially, as I mentioned, you just need to do the producer and then do a send and then close it. Essentially, that's what it is, right? Okay, so consumer is what we're trying to get at. So over here too is just doing a star for everything, but I like to kind of separate them out. So over here too, so we could actually do the same thing is kind of doing this, right? Pulsar client and doing a builder service URL. And then basically then the difference now is that your client, instead of doing new producer, we're doing new consumer. And then you tell it which topic and showing your hierarchy. Well, in this case, the hierarchy is with our cloud environment. So you do need to show which tenant and all of these things. But if it's local Docker, then there's no need to show that. It's essentially just local. So it's just flat, right? The hierarchy. And then the subscription, you need to name the subscription and then do a subscribe. And then basically too, then you kind of essentially listen for any messages. So then you should be able to say receive and then print that out. So essentially that's what we're going to do today. Okay, so let me kind of make sure. I think there's some messages. I'm so sorry. I think I missed. Fußnabel. Yeah. Stateless database sounds like an oxymoron. I know I'm a little slow in that, but yeah, that is very, yeah, that's right. I know. But sometimes too, I think with marketing, all of these, right? They like to kind of use these like buzzwords to make it sound like it is kind of cool or something, right? Anyway, so then that's what it is. So okay, so that's how we do the consumer. So let's take a look. We can essentially use this code. Why don't I do this? Let me then copy it over here, right? But I'll have to make changes because I'm gonna be a client that is not for a client for the cloud. So let's do that. Okay, let's copy over for the sake of time, right? Okay. All right, so here it is. So I've already done this, but let me do this one thing. This is what I've coded up right now, and let me kind of do this. Okay, okay, here we go. Okay, and oh, that's right. I have to do it like this. Paste. Okay, here we go. So I copy over what I got from the Astra Cloud, right? The example of the consumer. So here we go. Over here, I have Pulsar broker URL like this. So okay, then Pulsar client dot this. Okay, I call it. I didn't call it that, so I'm gonna call it Pulsar broker URL. Oops. And authentication. In this case too, there's no need for authentication because it's just local to my Docker. I don't use any authentication at this time just to eliminate any kind of other factors. So now I want to create the consumer. So, and actually we can then do this, right? Consumer, import class, and it should find it. Yeah, sure enough. Okay, so topic, I think is topic in this case will be my okay, the subscription. Okay, I name it like my subscription. Okay, actually, I'm not sure if I actually do need it, but I guess I do. Let me double check too. Double check on this. Yes, I will need my subscription name too. Yes, of course. Yeah. Okay. Now there's also a thing called subscription type too. Actually, you know what? So the type, you can be like subscription. Let's do it like a shared. How about that? Yeah. But as such too, right? As you can see, if I do it like that, and let's see what comes up. There's exclusive, there's failover, shared, and key shared. So essentially there are 4 types, right? So I like to maybe let me share with you my presentation that I just did. And where did it go? Okay. All right. Let me bring up my thing. Okay. Let me kind of bring in my. I just actually did a presentation. So for the Turkey Java users group. So I have my presentation. So let me bring that up. I just need to look for the link to it. So hold on a sec. So yeah. Okay, here we go. Wait, I got too many things. Copy link. Okay, here we go. I just did this presentation. So okay, so I just did this, and it's basically I was trying to show to the there's this thing called subscription. There are different subscription type. Okay, here we go. Oops. So over here, right? So just wanted to share with you too. So there are different types of messaging processing model, right? In this in Pulsar, in the Pulsar world. So normally too, when we do subscription, is usually just essentially I'd say it's more like any kind of producer you can publish to the same topic, and then these topics, right, can be you want to like consumers subscribe to it, and then there are different types, and in this case we do it like a shared is like multiple consumer can share the same subscription to it, is what it is. Or you can have it exclusive is only allows like one consumer, and then if you can have failover, essentially it's just a primary and a secondary, so that if the primary goes away, the secondary would take over. And then a shared is like equally shared among different consumers that are like subscribing to this same topic but share the same subscription. And then there's also key shared, so it's based on a key value too. That's what it is. So I won't get into all of these little subtle differences, but I just thought it might be helpful for you to know too. So for today we're just going to use a shared one. How about that? Okay. And then in that case too, we name it, we call it like my subscription, and then doing a subscribe, right? And then over here too, we first start with received message. So basically too, do while not received, then we just loop until we get something. So okay, let me kind of also okay, this is good. And then that's funny, this actually doesn't have that exception to method signature. Because I do need the try catch thing. Okay, we just kind of do that. I think I have that already. Okay, just throw. Sometimes too, I think if you throw it, it's usually not as recommended. But for now, for the sake of simplicity, let's throw it, right? Okay, and okay, and then the message too that we receive back is of type message. So import it, get it in here, time unit, and this is a Java class. Okay, and okay, so basically too, we block up to 1 second. So we do have some blocking to be done too. So in some ways too, it is, I was kind of talking about, it is very true in any kind of anyway, we can kind of wait, essentially, is what we're trying to do, rather than like continuously, you kind of we kind of like not throttle it, but kind of control when we want to receive it, is what it is. So we kind of every 1 second we kind of loop around, block for up to 1 second for a message. Okay, and okay, so if it's not null, then actually let me change this to logger info. Okay, we do logger info. So we receive like new message and then get the payload, the data from it, right? And then we then acknowledge, right? Because you do need to acknowledge before it can be, you remove it from the message backlog is what it is. And then we send it to true, and then that's what it is. And then at the end, we just close the consumer.close, and then client.close. Okay, and then I think I'm having, because I copy in the code. So it's relatively straightforward in here, and see how it works. Okay, let's kind of go back. I think I should be able to then say module, like build it, and let's see. Actually, the build, that's what I'm trying to do. Okay. Looks like it's good. Okay, cool. It completed. Okay, wonderful. Now, the thing is, though, is that like the same thing I did earlier when I was doing with Fußnabel, right? When you came join me, we work on an MQTT PubSub client. So it's kind of same kind of concept too, is that if I actually publish before I subscribe, then the publish can be gone. So I do need to say consume first. I basically want to say subscribe first, so then it loops around, and then the publish will come and consume it. So, okay, so let's see how to run it right now. I think when we run it, we have to be a little bit careful. Now, another thing is we haven't brought up our Pulsar broker yet, so let's go do that. Let's kind of come to my. So can you see? Okay, yeah. Let's do it like that, and then we can. Is it good? Okay, cool. All right, so here we go. That's the thing, right? Nice thing about this is I run it. So this is how you do it. And maybe is it big enough? Let me move it over. So that's how you can. Okay, here we go. Is it better? I'm not covering. Oh yeah, I'm still like a little bit too much. Okay. Okay, like this. Okay, that's good. So then I'm not covering everything. So let me move it a little bigger. Okay, here we go. So Docker run, and then the -it, and then all these port mappings to be done, and we want to expose it to the host and mount it. Blah blah blah. Source Pulsar data, target Pulsar data, mount all these things. Okay, here we go. So that's what we're gonna do. We're running 291. It's a standalone local. So this might it's going to take a minute. So that I would think is the quickest to kind of bring up a Pulsar local broker on your broker server, right, on your system. So yeah. So just remember too, the very first time it may take much longer, but now let's see, because I run it once already. So, and then another thing is also then take a look into our dashboard for our, here we go. Oh, that's the thing. Okay, that's another thing too. It's not actually we're not, well, the thing is this is Docker, but I also there should be Apache Pulsar. That's what I'm running on my Docker desktop over here, 291. Now the thing is too, over here, why I'm seeing Minikube is because I'm also experimenting with Luna streaming. Now if you were at my presentation, now this is actually still being up, so won't talk about that now, but let me kind of show this to you. So at DataStax, there's also first of all, just to give you some kind of idea, because even I was kind of confused which is which and like that, right? So at DataStax, we work with Cassandra. So if you are a Cassandra person, then you are aware of it, right? So let me kind of get this up. So basically, there's Astra. So Astra is the name that we name the DataStax Cassandra cloud platform, managed cloud platform. So that's what I was showing you earlier, right? When you go over here, this is actually the Astra cloud, right? Sign up for it. It's all free. Free for you to use. I mean, free up to $25 credit, but that's plenty if you're trying to learn it. There's no restriction. I just love this kind of thing because, as you know, right, I was at the IBM before. They gave you free tier access. However, because IBM, well, as such, IBM is a huge company with so many products. It's just unbelievable. So not everything is actually supported. I remember too, because I tried to use Postgres and realized, oh, you cannot use the normal Postgres. You need to use the small 5 connections version. And lo and behold, if you kind of connect to that very soon, you run out of connection. Nothing will work. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that Astra Streaming is really nice. This platform, it actually lets you create databases, create the streaming of these things. It's plentiful for you to use $25 per month, and that's a nice thing. So anyway, that's that. And Gitpod, I'm gonna try out Gitpod starting in the next few weeks. Then you and we can try things out as I'm speaking too, because I think it's becoming like a little bit maybe not as interesting for you when you can't try it out, and I'm so haphazard I didn't have things ready for you. Anyway, going back, so Astra Streaming is what we're looking at. The managed Pulsar, you get the free tier, $25 per month credit. And then there's Luna Streaming. So Luna is actually the pure Apache Pulsar. But the thing is, DataStax, we have 5 committers to the Apache Pulsar project, and then they are helping to work on that, because we get kind of like they are the open source, but yet we also put in a bit of an extra sauce, right, that we have, and they are free. That's a nice thing. Not only that, when you release a new product, right, new features and everything, it will take some time before those features are being available in Astra streaming, for example. But Luna streaming work closely, right? These committers work directly on Astra or on Apache Pulsar, so they are able to actually release things much faster with Luna streaming. So Luna streaming is slightly different. It's got a bit more manual stuff to do with it, but nonetheless too, it's actually quite good. I'm kind of working with it, and I actually did run into some issue. There's a bit of an installation to be doing, and it makes use of Helm charts, right, for Kubernetes. So that's what it is. So that's the Luna streaming. I just wanted to kind of share with you. So okay, so that's that. And where am I? And I forgot too. So let's kind of go back here. Oh, that's right. Of course, I'm trying to bring this up now. I think my okay, so this is that. So I was kind of trying to show you, because of it needs kind of a Kubernetes but running kind of locally. So I decide to use a Minikube to do that. So that's why you see the Minikube in here. So, but anyway, if you're interested too, I can try to bring in the Luna streaming next week as well. So again, all these experimentation is kind of fun, right? Isn't it? So, okay. So, all right, I'm going to move this out of the way so it won't be blocking us. Okay. And over here, let me see. Is it running, you think? Okay. Well, let's do this one thing, right? Let's try to run our client just to see if it's running. I thought too, it actually is supposed to show me something that it is running. As usual, Zookeeper, again, right, is the one that's managing the cluster of the metadata, kind of the overview of things and managing things for you in this complex ecosystem. So it actually started the Zookeeper. Again, it takes some time. I should have started it first, but I didn't. So we may still be having Zookeeper trying to start up, and because it's managing things, there are some delay too in terms of kind of will take some time. And I don't think our Pulsar is running yet. It's just created server of Zookeeper at this point. So let's see. Okay, so while this is going, let me see. Sometimes too, it buffers up and doesn't print out. So, but it is still going right now. So let me then go back to the code. Okay, so this is my subtest. Let's do this one thing. Let's see if it kind of can. Okay, let me kind of make sure I'm doing it right. Right, Pulsar. Oops. What am I doing? No. I think sometimes my key is kind of a little sticky or something. But okay, here we go. Undo. That's the thing. Okay, this is my subtest, and then this is. Yeah, this is my subtest, but I want to go back to my pub tests. Okay, Pulsar localhost 6650, Pulsar localhost. Okay, I just want to kind of double check that my topic is correct. Both are same test dash topic. Okay, I knew there was something that isn't right. Okay, there we go. Okay, and in this case, why don't I do this one thing? Just build them again. Build them all again, making sure things are good. Okay, successfully. So it's all successful. Wait, it's only building the subtest, but I'm not seeing. Wait, I think there's just these are just using uncheck on save. Okay, these are just so somehow it's telling me unchecked or unsaved operation. And then this one to recompile with the unchecked. Okay, but that's okay. It's just a warning in here. So, but otherwise too, I think the output is showing that it is okay. All right. So why don't I do this, right? Let's do a publish test, and we should be able to just right click on it and say run too. Oh, that is funny. Okay, there's something. I'm getting a warning. Cannot find Netty resolver class path. Fall back to system defaults. Okay, so that's okay. I think these are just warnings, so that's okay. And I'm not sure Well, but the thing is, it's not running yet because in my publish, right? My publish here, I will print out, it should show me, oh, there we go. So I think it is trying to connect. So right now I'm expecting it not to work because it's closed, right? Connection already closed. That's right. So that is okay because my server isn't up running yet, my Pulsar. So let's go kind of check it out. Yeah, for some reason it is still seem to be stuck in this stage, isn't it? Still Zookeeper. I do not see anything that tells me the Pulsar is up. So let's kind of get to our the over here. Actually, where is it? Okay, here we go. Actually, let me go over here. Developer resources. Let's go to the Pulsar thing. Okay, here we go. Sometimes the Pulsar thing is still new. So community docs. Let's go to docs. Actually, you know what? I should be looking for. I think some of the Pulsar actually have to still go over to the Pulsar side. That might be something that I need to try to find out. Yeah, that's why a lot of things that they are still talking about is Cassandra rather than Pulsar. So the thing is too is that let's go to Pulsar. Actually, the thing is that's another thing. Wanted to introduce you to the Pulsar neighborhood, right? I think I might have already shared that with you last time too, but this is nice too. We are trying to build up a community, so let me kind of quickly share too with you. Banner? No, not banner. Yes, banner. Okay, Pulsar, Apache. Okay, this is called Pulsar neighborhood. So join us at the hood, right? I mean, it's kind of like if you're familiar with that. So, okay, so I added this, and then here we are. So Pulsar Neighborhood, this is how you can join. Again, it's a community-driven site. We want to make it vendor neutral. There should not be any vendor messaging at all. Even if there's some, it's kind of less about like trying to sell things. Kind of, we don't want that flavor of things. It's more like really community sharing. And so as such, right, we have some of these. Right now, the community is still small, and I think because Pulsar is still starting to get its words out, right? So, but as such, there's some good information, and there are also a couple of key people, developers, right? Primarily, they're developers, technical people that are talking about this too. So yeah, so if you're interested, right, you want to submit your article, submit a request to, we accept any kind of, people, if you want to kind of contribute. So here we go. So if you come here, you can, kind of take a look in the about Apache Pulsar. Will bring you to the Pulsar kind of site too. So again, right, you can actually go over here, the docs, right? The docs will kind of, this is what I'm essentially doing, set up a standalone Pulsar locally. And I think over here too, now I've already stepped through all of these things, so you can also take a look into here too. So this thing, right, and let me do that, and then let me add another thing. Or did I already share? Let me see. No, I have not shared. So here we go. So this is like a starting Pulsar locally as a Docker container, right? So I just did this, and where is it? Okay, here we go. Oops, this actually doesn't seem to come out good, right? Or is it? How come it's... It looks like it's kind of, well, anyway, is it able to see it? Somehow I'm not able... Okay, yeah, it looks like it's kind of partially covered. So what I will do, let me edit it. So starting Pulsar in Docker, right? So let me update it. There we go. So that comes out better. So if you want to kind of take a look, follow this, and then it will, you actually get to that point in which You can do it locally, or you can do it like, well, I should actually give you the darker. What am I doing? I did it wrong, so sorry. Trying to do too much at the same time. So this one is in standalone dash darker. This is the one, standalone darker. So basically, all you need to do is just do a darker run. And so it's quite easy. And basically, it says if you started successfully, then on info level, log messaging should show you that messaging is up, right? HTTP service, messaging service is ready. So clearly, too, our broker somehow is still not up, and it's stuck in the zookeeper stage. So not sure what exactly it is doing. I know that even last time when I tried to stop it, even the stopping side took a long time. So this might be a challenge. And right now, I only have 3 more minutes before I need to go to my next meeting. So instead of kind of figuring out about what's going on, let me then leave this. If you're interested, please try this out yourself at this point. If not, then I will stop my stream here today. And if you like to, I can run another stream, another Twitch stream this week too, if you'd like, right? Or if not, maybe over the weekend. I keep saying, let me try. I can also do another one, and then I can try it out and figure out what's going on with this broker. But otherwise too, let's kind of go back to here. So this is where it's leaving at, and of course I cannot run it yet because my server, my broker is not up. But other than that, I have these two class consumer and producer ready. So let me test it out. Once it's working, I'm going to publish onto my GitHub. And then I will also turn it into a Git pod where everybody can come in and try things out too on your Git pod too. So, okay. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate you all having spent time with me. And I hope it is helpful. And then folks, if you just came from the Turkey Java community, thank you so much again for having joined me. Or if you're watching the recording, thank you. And yeah, and I'll see you next time. And please join me on my Discord. You know, I'd like to invite you. Let me kind of go back in here. Let me hide this and let me show my Discord server again. If you want to join me on Discord, we can continue the conversation. And you all have a good night or a good day wherever you are, or good morning. Okay. All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye.